Hey there, real quick before we get into the episode, I just want to ask you a huge favor. As you know, this podcast isn't monetized, and I really hope to keep it that way. And so, what would really be awesome is if you did me the favor of passing it forward, paying it forward. Hit that share button if you want to share this particular episode, or share the entire podcast. Post it on your stories or in your social media, or share it directly with any individual that you might think would appreciate and enjoy this content. I really want to continue giving you value for free, sharing this information with you because my mission is to help you on your journeys, right? And as I said, if you're finding this stuff helpful, chances are there's somebody else out there that will. So again, do me a quick favor, hit that share button, and let's get this message out. All right, on with the show. Path Media. It's not a place for reality. It's not a place for truth. It's a place for opinion. It's a place for spin. Hi, my name is Ronnie Cruz. After almost 2 decades as a career network marketer, I realized that despite continual work on my personal and professional development, that I had hit a massive brick wall. So I took a deep and honest look at myself, top to bottom, hoping to find answers, and my search led me to one conclusion. The definitions I held of my business, of my world, of my life were the very things holding me back. If I wanted to change, if I wanted to grow beyond my current circumstances, I had to wipe the slate clean and redefine. This show is dedicated to helping you identify the belief systems, the mindsets, the very definitions that have held you back, and then help you break through those limitations to finally create the life you've been working so hard to achieve. Welcome to the Redefine Podcast. All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about social media. In light of everything that's been happening with my business, with the network marketing company that I'm partnered with, Yoli, I felt it necessary to talk about social media to give you guys perspective of how it really works. Well, not how it works from a technical standpoint, but what it really does for our mindsets and our perspectives. Social media has played an integral role in what's been happening in my company. Now, if you don't know, if you haven't heard the past episodes in the last couple of weeks, a very prominent figure, a very high-profile figure, leader in my network marketing company has made a very public exit. And he's done most of it on social media. And of course, the waves of other people leaving have taken to social media as well to announce their exit from our company. I have been relatively quiet on social when it comes to making a statement about what's been going on. And it's been very purposeful. Like I first of all don't really engage on that level with social media anymore, like with my status updates and, letting people know what I'm up to and giving my opinion on things. Yes, I very much still love social media and I still use it for marketing and for trainings and maybe doing some coaching stuff, sharing perspectives on personal development and things like that on business and on marketing. But I rarely ever get on there to share my opinion. It's getting to a point right now where I'm feeling like maybe I should, just to give some clarity, just to share my perspective, because again, it's all happening on social media, and I am also a very high profile leader in a prominent position with the company. And naturally, people are wondering what I'm doing, right? Well, what is my take on the situation? And so I've been kind of weighing it all out, and in doing that, I realized, okay, so there's some things about social media that I want to share with you, so that the intricacies of what it's doing and how it operates within our mindsets. Now, I'll start by saying that social media is not reality, right? It's not reality. It's not factual based. As much as we think it is, it's not reality. Like, it's not the same reality as is offline. I've definitely had conversations offline behind the scenes with people who are seeking out my perspective, and those are reality. Right? Those are real interactions. Social media acts a little differently in that it is curated by an algorithm, right? Okay, so let me back up. Social media first is a place where we can get instant validation for our emotional state, for our perspective and opinion, right? You post something, and the people who agree with it and align with that particular perspective or opinion will immediately like it, will comment, will give it support, and so there's that dopamine hit of, okay, yeah, I'm right, right? My perspective is right, and anybody that doesn't see it my way is wrong, right? So there's that first angle, right, of social media and what it does. So it's a instant validation of your perspective. It's not reality in terms of the ability to see and therefore entertain perspectives that might not align with yours. The second thing is, because of that, not only is it a place to get validation for your opinion and your perspective, the algorithm then really is so, yeah, it's so good, it's so subtle, and it's so smart that it gives you more of that same perspective. So it becomes a feedback loop, right? It becomes a validation and then an enforcement, because it gives you more of the content that it thinks that you need, right? That it thinks that you align with, because again, like social media wants to keep you on its platform. So whatever you're seeing on social media is a very tight bubble of your own opinions, right? Of your own perspective. And that's why I say it's not reality, because there's so many other truths out there. There's so many other perspectives out there and opinions out there, right? So it got me to thinking, like, okay, so everybody's seeing on social media right now, because again, people that are exiting my company have been very vocal and very public about it, and those of us who are showing restraint, they haven't really generally heard our perspective, right? They haven't heard the flip side of the coin, and that's why I'm tossing up this, I'm tossing around the idea of whether or not I should even get on social media and share my perspective, and let everybody know what I'm doing, right? What I'm doing, because I think, because social media is so deeply ingrained to how people operate on a day to day, that my absence on social media gets then interpreted as, well, at the very least, there's just a bunch of what ifs. And we all know that what ifs, if they don't get answered, then the mind and the brain, all of the backstory, everything gets filled in, right? Everything gets filled in, creating more non-reality, right? Creating more non-reality. So when you think about it this way, when you understand this mechanism that's happening in social media, it's not a place for reality. It's not a place for truth. It's a place for opinion. It's a place for spin. And that's why it's very effective, especially when you have a strong opinion or a strong emotional state about a particular topic. For our example today, for the strong opinion and emotional reaction to people leaving, all right, or even why people are leaving, right? The rationale and the quote unquote logic that people are giving for leaving our company. That's opinion, right? That's their perspective, and it's so effective because the algorithm feeds that to the people that are feeling the same way, right? So again, it's not a place for truth. It's not a place for sharing perspectives necessarily, and hearing discourse. It's a place for validation, and it's a place for spin. Again, that's why it works so very well if you're intentional with it. And this is where I'm going with this conversation. I love social media, don't get me wrong. This is not an indictment on social media and the platforms, but I would urge that you really be mindful with your level of interaction and how you engage in social media. Because if it's not purposeful, then you are easily going to get swept away by more of the same feedback loop and bubble and opinions and perspectives that you align with. And that makes you more and more closed-minded. It makes you more and more opinionated, and it makes you believe more and more that you're always right, right? It makes you very judgmental. So you have to really watch out for that. Again, if you're not intentional, if you're not mindful of this thing that's happening with social media, then you are going to be at the whim of the spin that's happening. It's the spin from the algorithm, and it's also the spin from the individuals that purposefully and intentionally want to grab your attention. Now, flip it around and being mindful and being intentional with social media and what you share out there and what you engage with, it allows you to leverage the platform and the power of these platforms, right? To benefit not just yourself and your marketing, although that is incredibly powerful way of using social media, but to do it in a way that also benefits others, right? Like to be that steward, right? To be the steward of making sure that people are not just being fed more of their own feedback loop, but sharing multiple perspectives, sharing a perspective that lets them know that there are other perspectives out there, really taking care of other people's mindsets because of the risk and danger that social media can present to that mindset. Right? Knowing the power that social media has, I think we have to be really intentional of being good stewards of using that power, because we can negatively affect people's lives. In this particular case, a lot of people are getting swept away with this decision to leave our company and move to another company based on emotion, and heightened reactivity, and really not based on sound logic, which is what I would want people to do to make. Sound logic is what I would want people to make a major business decision with, right? Right. So, and that's why I've been very careful with speaking out on social media about this particular event that's happening in my business and my company. I think I will eventually do it because I'm far enough removed from the initial event that I've allowed myself intentionally to be out of that reactive state, so I don't just go out there and put more gasoline on the fire, and which really doesn't help anybody, right? To have a what do people say, a thumb war on social media doesn't serve anybody. It certainly doesn't serve me, and so yeah, I've been really intentional with that, and that's what I encourage you to do. Be mindful with how you engage with social media and the things that you're looking at, and the things that you're consuming, but also be mindful of what you share, right? Be mindful and intentional with what you post and what you put out there in the world, because that will reverberate out into the world and could potentially impact somebody's choices and decisions impact their choices and decisions enough to sway them into doing a particular thing. So I always hold that ability and power with grave responsibility, right? I really hold myself to a high standard when it comes to that. So, I hope, my message in this episode is my hope is that you do the same. Really take care of your own mindset and be mindful of what you're consuming on social media, and be very intentional with what you put out there. Because it will impact negatively or positively. It will impact the people that consume your content. Okay, all right. So that's going to be the message for today. Of course, more from me in the next one. So yeah, until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.